Hello there, my name is Emma Berry, independent candidate for 3rd Congressional District of Texas. This is part 4 of a series that I've done on what is wrong with the economy. Using the solution for the problem of displaced persons from Mexico as an example, I will tell you why you cannot expect much from either Democrats or Republicans in terms of effecting a real solution for the problem of displaced people from Mexico in the USA. In order to successfully address the issues of displaced persons from Mexico, our Congress will have to renegotiate NAFTA and put back in the tariffs that were originally there to protect the Mexican corn farmer. The second thing that they will have to do is they will have to remove all of the farm subsidies that are paid currently to corporate welfare recipients such as ADM, Cargill, and others. This would be $18.5 billion that the American taxpayer fork over every year for corporate welfare recipients, for the rich. Even so, doing this will not be a magic bullet that will immediately solve the displaced persons problem and job creation problems overnight. After all, this is a problem that has been 16 years in the making, and we're not going to solve it overnight. But by cutting corporate welfare to Wall Street by $18.5 billion, that gives us a lot of money that we can apply to addressing not only the problem of displaced people from Mexico in our nation, but also job creation for Main Street. We can have the job creation and still have money left over to help the displaced people from Mexico in our nation. We can use this money to restore some of the manufacturing jobs that were removed from our country 16 years ago and over the past 16 years, in fact, by the globalization hoax that has been foisted on the American people by Wall Street and the wealthy. Perhaps in 5 or 6 years, over time, after using this money to seed jobs for our national and local economies in the United States, we'll be able to cut this tax burden of $18.5 billion by 2/3 or maybe even more. But such a sensible solution is not likely to be affected by our current Congress. Why? Because most of our elected officials in Washington are part of the problem. Nearly all of them benefit directly from corporate welfare handouts and legislation that supports these handouts. Their service in Congress represents, for the most of them, represents a clear conflict of interest. I doubt there is a single member of Congress who does not own Wall Street stock. And if you still labor under the illusion that Wall Street is connected to Main Street in some sort of a mutually beneficial relationship, let me enlighten you. If there's any relationship between Wall Street and Main Street, it is the relationship of a carny to his mark. Wall Street is no friend of Main Street, and we need to turn our backs on Wall Street as they have turned their backs on Main Street. They do not represent the best interests of Main Street. America's biggest companies today are also showing, unlike Main Street, America's biggest corporations today are showing fat profits and productivity gains because they continue to slash payrolls and cut expenditures. Alcoa, for one example, had $1.5 billion at the end of 2009. This amount represented twice the amount that they had at the end of 2008. Well, you might ask, how can this be possible in this economy? How can they have double what they had in 2008? Well, it sounds terrific until you realize how Alcoa did it. They did it by cutting 28,000 jobs for Americans, 32% of their workforce, and they slashed capital expenditures by 43%. Well, this isn't very good for the people who live on Main Street. It may be great for the rich shareholders of Alcoa, many of whom are members of Congress, but it's not so good for the ordinary citizens of America. And this example is typical of what Wall Street is doing today. They are sitting on billions of dollars that none of them could have realized without huge sacrifices from the American people. And if you think this money will go back into the American economy, then you can think again. Wall Street is not going to invest in our nation. They are going after markets in India, China, and Brazil. That's where they're going to pack up their carpet bags, and that's where they're going to go next. And if you want to know why you can trust me to go after Wall Street crooks and cut off corporate welfare, I will tell you it's one of the reasons is because I don't own a cent of Wall Street stock. You will have no problems with me in regard to a conflict of interest between the American people and Wall Street. Corporations are unholy machines that are out of control. They can go their way without the support of the American taxpayers. I will do all I can to cut off all tax supply that we are providing for Wall Street, for every single Wall Street company. I will do everything I can to remove the American taxpayer support from these crooks. I will show them the same disrespect that they have shown to the American people. Wall Street does not deserve the support of the American people. And this concludes my discussion of what's wrong with the economy and what I will do if you give me the confidence of your vote and send me to Washington. I will put an end to Wall Street corporate welfare. That is at the top of my list. Thank you.